Hello, today's session is the second part of the steering rack. I've gotten my questions answered, and the questions, as we remember, are whether the pinion shaft should be on the driver's side and whether it should be angled or parallel to the ground. I've been told it should be angled slightly and to keep it loose until we install um, the steering shaft so that it can be tuned properly, and that I can test whether the pinion is on the right side just by turning it clockwise and seeing if the rack goes towards the right. So yes, I've confirmed that it should be on the left side by turning the pinion. And however, the angle on the pinion, I couldn't leave it loose. I ended up torquing it to spec because if I even tightened the rack clamps a little bit, the rack could not rotate. And so I figured if I can't rotate it anyways, I might as well torque it down. Um, I did find a flat section on the bottom of the rack that seems to be the correct angle if that flat section is parallel to the earth. It ended up being, I don't know, 20 to 25-degree angle. So I torqued it down there. That was relatively easy, so I moved on to the headlight brackets, which my dealer suggested I work on because they also clamp to, or they also bolt to where the front top wishbones for the suspension I had already worked on were. This turned out to be pretty difficult. The holes in the headlight bracket did not match up with the wishbone holes, and so I had to pry the little hook on the headlight bracket a little bit and sort of force it in by screwing and malleting it. Eventually, I got there. Ended up taking me about 2.25 hours to do this session. Um, but at the end of the session, I decided to prep the next session, which is installing the dampers. I had heard that the dampers may need to have a spacer installed, and so I tried to bolt the top of the damper to uh, the car to see if I indeed need that spacer. Uh, and yes, I do. The reason for that is because the damper, the top hat of the damper ends up hitting one of the mounting bolts. And so putting the spacer will give the necessary space and clearance so that when the car is traveling, the top hat of the suspension or the damper will not hit the bolt. So that will be probably my prep for the next session. My friend told me how to uh, take off the top of the damper to install the spacer. Basically, we have to loosen the spring by twisting um, uh, the spacers on the damper, twisting that to loosen the spring. And then once that's done, the top hat can come off and the spring can slide off. And then I can probably just take a wrench to loosen the nut there and install the spacer. So anyways, more on that next time. Thank you for watching.